This is Julian. He's 11 months old and about to go on his first long airplane ride. We'll be traveling from Seattle to Oahu, Hawaii, a 6-hour plane ride that should be a unique experience for all of us. Come along with us to see what it's like to travel on an airplane with a baby. First time flying to Hawaii with a baby. Let's do this. Our journey begins at the Seattle Light Rail Station. It's the cheapest and arguably the fastest way to get to SeaTac Airport from downtown Seattle. Once we arrived at the airport for our 8:30 a.m. flight, we checked our large suitcase in at Hawaiian Airlines. Since Julian is under 2 years old, he can fly for free if he sits on our laps. We decided to go this route to save money, especially since my parents have a car seat waiting for us in Oahu. If we had to travel with a car seat, we either would have had to purchase him a seat or checked the car seat in, which is what we did when we flew to Mexico earlier this year. Next, we waited in a super long TSA security line. If you're traveling with a baby, you can take your stroller through, but you have to fold up the stroller if it's foldable and put it on the security belt and walk through the screening checkpoint holding your baby. This is much easier to do if you're traveling with a partner. So you can probably tell that was mildly chaotic because you do have to take the baby out of the stroller, roll the stroller up, take all your stuff out of your bag, and yeah, it just took a long time. As you can also see, it really helps to have the stroller as you're walking along through the airport, especially if you're in a bigger airport like Seattle and you have to take trains to get to your final gate. So definitely try to bring your stroller all the way to the gate. You can typically gate check your stroller. You just have to tell them in advance so they can give you that little tag. Gotta love how they always hide the elevators. It's so far away. Oh, we're right next to Customs and Border Control. Mezzanine, subway, where are we going? Concourse? Lounge? Concourse.
Concourse, I would say.
This whole thing with a baby are making us really hate elevators. They're just really hard to find, really hard to figure out where to go.
Flight number 21 with service to Honolulu is boarding all rows in all zones.
Well, that was convenient. Dumped us out right into where we're supposed to be.
Only problem is we have no water.
And now you need to use the bathroom. You know how when you're flying by yourself, and you're always like, they always make that call for people with babies to check in first ahead of everybody else. I've always dreamed of doing that now that we actually have a baby. This is our second flight, and we've always cut it really close. We've never been able to take advantage of that quick bathroom break. Gotta probably get a handicap stall with this guy. Well, that was the one restroom in all of Seattle that actually had adequate child services. It was a big restroom stall, and it had a place to change the baby and even for a little toddler to sit. So that was nice.
This time our gate number at 12.
At this point, we put him inside of the Ergo baby carrier so that we can fold up the stroller and check it at the gate. A lot of people actually do this process earlier to go through security, but again, it's just easier to have him in the stroller up until this point.
No worries, we can print out a new one with your ID.
Okay.
If not, I'll go in your place, you stay behind.
Literally the last people to check in. Of course, we hurry up and we wait. If you walked your stroller in this far, you have to gate check it before boarding the airplane. You can bring a car seat on, but only if you've purchased a seat for your baby.
Baby on
Hello.
your lap today?
Yes.
Okay, and what did they give you guys?
Oh, yes,
Just
I
so we know
do.
where the lap children are. All right, thank you. You'll be on the first aisle.
Thank you. Thankfully, this Hawaiian Airlines flight was an airplane with 2 seats near each window. I was so relieved that we didn't have the 3-seat row where we likely would have had to be seated next to a stranger. The only problem was that our row had very little legroom and the flight was fully booked.
Well, it's exhausting and it's stressful, but we did it, and now just 6 painful hours and we'll be through.
Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
Before long, our flight was ready for takeoff. This is a really good tip to have him eat or drink as you're taking off. He's got his ears pop. Same for landing. Is he awake?
Barely.
And within minutes, Julian was fast asleep for his first nap of the flight. Soon it was time for meal service. Hawaiian Airlines is one of the only airlines in the USA that still serves a complimentary meal. In this case, it was a breakfast bake that reminded me of a Hot Pocket.
Someone just woke up from his nap pretty happy and energetic, so now the real fun begins. Baby.
This is what I mean by how cramped it is with this tray down. It's kind of in his way, so it's hard for us to have anything here. I basically have to wait to eat when he's not on my lap. After we were all fed, I slowly pulled out new toys that Julian had never seen before. I highly recommend the Busy Board and the baby fidget spinner, and of course, copious amounts of crunchy snacks. When toys no longer amused Julian, we let him rifle through his diaper bag. He ended up being fascinated with seemingly ordinary objects such as a half-full water bottle and a bag of wipes. Well, we're about halfway through.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all actually so far. We did, 4 hours and a half from Mexico to here, and it was tolerable, and now we're beyond that, so I think we'll make it alright.
So snuggly. Before long, Julian needed a diaper change, so we headed to the lavatories in the back of the airplane, which were reportedly the largest ones on the plane. We're gonna see how it is to try to change him here in this little lavatory. Here's the toilet, and we actually have... There we go. He actually fits pretty well on this. The first half of the plane ride went pretty smoothly. The second half was a little more challenging, mainly because Julian had already had his nap and he was of the age where he liked to crawl and explore, which is nearly impossible to do on a fully booked flight. So we took turns walking him up and down the aisles, holding him and bouncing him, and even taking off his outfit when he got a little too hot. And he ended up being pretty amused to be half naked for a little while. When it comes time to depart the airplane, there's no rush, because right after you exit, you have to hang out for your stroller to arrive if you've gate checked it. As you can see, this flight was pretty full of kids and babies. We made it. 6-hour flight with our baby. He was actually pretty good for most of it, but towards the end he started getting pretty antsy, and I can't blame him. I feel like most adults start getting antsy towards the end.
That's right, I myself ran out of patience faster than that, but I have to say this flight was surprisingly painless. I'm coming off it in a pretty good mood.
So as you can see, flying with a baby is definitely more challenging than flying solo or as a couple. But with all that said, it's definitely worth traveling with your child to show them other parts of the world. It's such a crucial time for their development, and giving them those experiences is worth every challenge that you face along the way. So if you're watching this video because you're planning to fly with your child for the first time, then hopefully this gives you the confidence to do that. I know I watched lots of these videos before taking this trip, and it definitely made me feel a lot more reassured. If you'd like to see what we did once we arrived in Oahu, then stay tuned for the rest of our Hawaii travel series coming up soon.